Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, because normally here on the channel I focus 100% on the multiplayer side of things, but here in today's video we're going to be focusing on Blackout, as well as the internal politics of the Treyarch dev team, but we'll be talking about that more towards the end of the video. What inspired all this is last night, David Vonderhaar revealed a bunch of changes that are currently being tested for the Blackout game mode, and will be coming to the game very soon. These changes include nerfs to armor, concussion grenades, as well as cluster grenades, and here in this video we're going to be going over pretty much everything that has been officially revealed so far. So first things first, let's go over the dreaded concussion grenade. A lot of people in the community, myself included, have been calling for this thing to go the way of the 9-bang and just straight up be removed from Blackout, because it's really freaking annoying to die to. But over on Reddit, David Vonderhaar has confirmed that they have no plans of removing the concussion grenade whatsoever. Instead, he then took to Twitter to let everybody know that they're going to be nerfing the area of effect that the concussion has, so therefore it's not going to have as big of a blast radius, and they're also going to be making it so you can switch weapons, toss equipment, and melee while you are concussed. Now from the sounds of it, you still won't be able to shoot while you're concussed, but the overall effectiveness of the concussion is still going to be significantly reduced, while also still doing what it's designed to do. So you'll still be stunned for a brief second and unable to shoot, but you'll still be able to swap your weapons, throw out other equipment and melee, and do things like that, as well as the concussion is going to have a much smaller blast radius. I personally think this is a really good idea. There's nothing worse than getting into the final circle, not having the reinforced perk, or not being fortunate enough to find a trophy system, and just knowing that you're going to be hit by a stun grenade and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. Sure, there are counters like I mentioned, but you have to actually find them, and it's a lot harder to use defensive items than it is to use offensive items, right? I mean, if it's the final circle and you do have a trophy system, then that's a no-brainer, right? Throw down your trophy system, you're going to be okay, but outside of that, it's really difficult to know exactly when to use your trophy system, when to use the reinforced perk. You really have no idea. Even if you're running up towards somebody and you know for a fact that they're going to be there and they're going to get in a gunfight with you, even then, you don't know if they're going to have a concussion grenade. You don't know if you should use your reinforced perk right there, because who knows if it's actually going to be useful, and if it's not useful, then you completely wasted it for later on. It's a really tricky situation. So overall, I'm interested to see how these concussion changes are going to feel after the update. But moving along here, let's go ahead and talk about level 3 armor. This is probably the 20th or 30th time that Treyarch has tried to rebalance level 3 armor. Like, who remembers the original OG level 3 armor from the beta? That was absolutely freaking insane. I had to find this clip on my YouTube channel, but my freaking goodness, it was insane. And what they plan to do now is they are going to yet again lower the protection that level 3 armor provides you, but they're also going to make it much harder to repair. Now, to quote Vonderhaar directly, it will take 2 shards to repair 1 pip of damage. And what even are these units of measurement here? By shard, I assume he means the armor plates, and by pips, I think he means one of the 5 armor bars. And if that's the case, then that's going to be a pretty significant nerf. Right now, it takes 1 armor plate to repair 1 bar of your armor, and these proposed changes are not only going to make it so the armor is worse, but it's going to make it so it takes nearly 10 armor plates to completely repair level 3 armor, as compared to the 5 armor plates that it takes right now. All in all, this sounds like a really solid change. And finally, we have an update for the cluster grenade. This isn't as big of an update as the armor changes or the concussion changes, but what they're going to do is they're going to make it so cluster grenades take an extra second to actually go off, which will give players a little bit more time to react and get away from the grenade. I'm actually kind of torn on this one, right? Because in my opinion, cluster grenades are good, but they never really seem to be overpowered or anything like that. Then again, a cluster grenade was the reason why I was able to unlock woods here in this gameplay, so maybe I'm a bit biased here, but honestly, I never really saw the cluster as one of the annoying aspects of Blackout. I've always focused on level 3 armor when I don't have any, or the concussion grenades, or back in the day, the 9-bang, but overall, it looks like Treyarch is trying to reduce the grenade spam in Blackout, which I think most of us can agree is going to be a pretty good change. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much does it. Those are the changes that Treyarch is currently testing and will be added to the game soon, though we don't have an official date or anything like that. But if I had to guess, using history as an indicator, it seems like next Tuesday is going to be the ideal time to implement these changes, because more often than not, Treyarch doesn't even discuss changes or tweaks or upcoming updates or anything like that until they're about a week or so from implementing those changes. Now, of course, that is just speculation. We really have no idea, but judging from their prior announcements and their updates, it seems like all these changes will be added probably within the next week or so. Now, finally, I want to wrap up this video here today by talking about the quote-unquote news about David Vonderhaar that people keep asking me to discuss. So, apparently, it's news to everybody that David Vonderhaar is heading the Blackout team this year and not really focusing on the multiplayer whatsoever. I found this to be a bit surprising because I thought everybody already knew this. I mean, since the reveal of Black Ops 4, the only time Vonderhaar has ever even mentioned the word multiplayer was when he was on stage with Dan Bunting at the reveal, talking about the new health mechanics and, of course, the specialists that are going to be in the game. Outside of that, Vonderhaar has pretty much been exclusively the Blackout guy, right? He's been in every Blackout interview. Every tweet he makes is about Blackout. He's the guy who has answered virtually every question about Blackout on Reddit. He's just the Blackout guy, right? At no point was it ever said that Vonderhaar was going to be working on the multiplayer, but everybody kind of assumed that he was going to be because he played such a big role in the original Black Ops, as well as Black Ops 2, and to a much lesser extent, Black Ops 3. The head multiplayer guys over at Treyarch are actually Dan Bunting, who has been serving as the head multiplayer game designer ever since World at War, and Matt Scrons, who has been at Treyarch since the original Black Ops, and is currently serving as the senior game designer. Now, of course, these names are a little bit less known because all this time, Vonderhaar has been the face of Treyarch, but that's because he basically started serving as the community manager after JD 2020 left that role after the original Black Ops. But in reality, Vonderhaar's role within Treyarch has actually changed a lot over the course of the 14 years that he's been with the company. If you look at his LinkedIn, he's actually one of the people responsible for hiring game designers for Treyarch, which means that in some ways he does have an effect on the Black Ops 4 multiplayer, but this time around he's really more the Blackout guy. He's putting all his focus and energy into the Blackout game mode, and so far I would say that's actually paying off. Now, some people will say no, it doesn't because they don't like Blackout, but if you like Battle Royale, chances are you like Blackout, right? It's one of the smoothest and best playing BR games on console, and with every update it gets better and better and better, and going full circle, that's what I wanted to focus on here in this video. The new Blackout update has been teased, we know exactly what's coming, and we also know that Mastery camos are going to be coming to Blackout soon as well, so fingers crossed all those updates go live next week, but as always, I will keep you guys posted with more details as they become available. But ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have for you guys here in this video. Those are the changes coming to Blackout, as well as the discussion about the Treyarch dev team, and I would love to hear what you guys think down there in the comments. What do you think of Blackout so far? Are you enjoying the game mode, and where do you see them taking it in the future? We are definitely due for a new content update. Balance updates are great, but we are definitely due for a new content update in Blackout, because if you really think about it, over the course of the 3 months that this game mode has been here, all they've really done is add a couple of zombie spawns, which are nice, but not really the biggest deal ever. They've revamped the map in terms of its setting. They made the trees different color and added holiday decorations, and of course they also added Hijacked, but that's really it so far, and we're 3 months in. Even though they keep talking about Black Ops 4 as a 3-year game, it's still technically going to be a 1-year game for a lot of people in the community, because of course Infinity Ward is working on their game, and they are going to be releasing it this holiday season, and no matter how good the old game is, the entire community moves on to the new game as soon as it's released. That's what we do here in the Call of Duty franchise. We may go back to the older game eventually, but when that new game comes out, most of us migrate there, probably 80-90% of the community. So Treyarch really needs to stop dragging their feet when it comes to content updates. I mean, balance updates are great, the more the merrier really, but when it comes to content updates, there's been a bit of a drought as of recently, especially with the beginning of 2019, and I would love to hear what you guys would like to see them add down there in the comment section below. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys here today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.